Hi, so I have a disagreement with your guys' take in Ukraine. As I understand it, your position is that, it's really expensive, we shouldn't be sending all this money, and it's also none of our business, right? I disagree with that because, one, I think it's morally right, but also, even from a national interest standpoint, right? That money, the Ukrainians have definitely done a lot, but that money has helped them embarrass Russia on a national stage, right? Like before, we believed that they were a big power, and now they've embarrassed themselves. And also, I think that Western solidarity is really important, right? I mean, especially with China eyeing Taiwan, we need to show them internationally that we're a solidified force. They can't just go and take it. We need to show that we can defend.
So we're spending trillions of dollars to embarrass Russia? That's like a little bit of embarrassment? Is that what we're trying to do? You think that we should be recycling millions of dollars and having millions of dollars disappear into thin air so that we can say, ooh, look, Vladimir Putin is embarrassed. And if by embarrassed you mean shaking hands with Xi Jinping, talking about how things are going to change and that the next 100 years are not going to look like the last 100 years, then you are not paying attention to what is going on. We have just pushed Vladimir Putin into the arms of China, right? One of our the greatest competitor that we possibly have is China. They're shaking hands. They're openly mocking the West. This has never happened before, right? They think the West is a joke. And why shouldn't they? Look at us. We're having debates about gender. We don't know what a woman is, okay? Hollywood, we think that it's cool to have Zelensky make attendances at the Grammys. It's a joke. It's a complete and utter joke. So, no. First and foremost, we talked about national interest. National interest require that it was in our nation or it impacted us. It's not my effing business what happens in the Eastern Corridor while we have real Americans that are suffering today. And if you notice, it's been non-stop wars that we haven't lost. You want to talk about embarrassment? Try leaving billions of dollars of technology in Afghanistan after spending decades fighting. That's embarrassment. That's embarrassment. What's embarrassing is China then flying immediately after we magically evacuate and meeting with the Taliban and immediately recognizing them as a government. We had daughters and our sons that died. What did we win? What about those weapons of mass destruction? Was this the 20th anniversary of Iraq? You want to talk about embarrassment? The things that we did in Iraq, the things that we've done all across the world, and for what? What do you have to show for it? Well, I guess we embarrassed a few people while we were sending Americans over to die. At least we were able to embarrass a few people in the process. That's not a good way to think. I'm going to tell you right now. That's not a good way to think. We should think about prioritizing all of the issues that we have in America. You want to talk about an invasion? Let's talk about the one that's happening at our border every single day. That's what we mean when we say America first, okay? We have plenty of issues to solve. Not a single red cent should be sent overseas until we fix what's happening here in the United States. Thank you for your question.
I'll add one thing. Just Candace makes a fabulous point that needs to be repeated and repeated. A country that cannot determine what a woman is should not go to war.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
No, this is a general rule for conflict. If you have a domestic crisis where you are not able to agree on basic truths, you are not a nation ready to go free.
China's writing articles, their newspapers, they're literally writing articles mocking America about how we don't know what bathroom to go into, right? About how we sent the full force of the military to shoot down a Hobby Lobby balloon. Right? If you think that the embarrassment that Russia is embarrassed, you haven't been paying attention to what's happening in America. Honestly, we become a mock. We're being mocked in the Eastern Corridor.
And I'll go even a step further. It's a tragic geopolitical mistake that Russia is not neutral, it's not an ally with us against the Chinese Communist Party. All this saber rattling that it's the Cold War and Russia against us. It didn't have to be this way. Donald Trump
Cold War hangover. It's Cold War hangover.
Donald Trump had it in the right position. The Chinese Communist Party is the great threat against the West and American liberty, and now they have a gas station. The Chinese Communist Party now has more oil reserves than they know what to do with in a great super alliance that we helped create.
Please study the pipelines. Really understand. It's really understand. This is not about scoring points. This is not about running an article on CNN and Washington Post saying, "Oh, look, we embarrassed." You need to study the map of the pipelines and understand exactly what he is talking about when he is saying the threat of an alliance between Russia and China. They don't care about some points on the board saying, "Oh, look, it's so serious. We are in such a severe state right now." When I I say it is managed social decline, managed political decline, we are no longer being taken seriously on the world stage. When I watched, I think it was Russia Today, a clip that my executive producers pulled of them openly laughing and mocking the American military, unfathomable even 4 years ago when Trump was in office. Unfathomable. They're openly mocking us. They don't take the West seriously, because why should we be taken seriously? We're arguing over bathroom signs over here.